Team living a nomadic lifestyle, trying to get off into the bush. Maybe you're just trying to do some camping. Maybe you want to be a little bit more off grid or not connected to some of the larger organizations out there that provide you with internet coverage. Maybe you want to set up a mobile command post and you want to be able to travel, or maybe you want some internet on the move. These things can be a challenge. There are some solutions out there, and in this one, we're going to talk about the Nomad, and I'm super stoked to bring you this thing. Of course, this is not a sales pitch. I'm not going to tell you nothing but good things about it. I'm going to tell you the bad things about it as well, and my experience with using this thing. So the Nomad comes in a little pouch, and what we have inside are two main things. Of course, we have some cable connections. But first off is a battery bank. This thing will charge the actual device for 1 week, and it will. It will actually charge it for just over 1 week. The actual device is right here. So this thing is pretty wild. It uses a C-band, which sits in between 4G and 5G. And there's some other cables in here that don't really matter for the purpose of this conversation. So it uses a C-band. Pros and cons with this, right? If you were to use a typical standard big box name internet provider that is satellite based, it is geostationary, okay? That means that your satellite dish is never going to move. Compare that with Starlink, which uses lower orbiting satellites that are moving. And that's why if you've seen a Starlink, you can see the dish following. Now here in my area, specifically my house up in northeast Georgia, I have run through 3 different internet providers, right? I'm using Kinetic, which is over the landlines. I have tried Starlink, and I have tried the Nomad. I've also tried the Nomad on the move, and I can tell you that this thing is pretty cool for what it does. Now, what it does do is, because it is terrestrial based, that means you have to be in some kind of proximity to at least one cell phone tower. It uses the Verizon network. So it's kind of grabbing that C-band that's coming off those towers, which is relatively unused. So it can provide you some good speed, assuming, of course, that you are, again, within proximity to those towers. Where I'm at, I'm about 3.5 miles from a single cell phone tower. And I do get service here, and I'm going to show you some screenshots here in a second with what I'm getting between Kinetic, which is their basic lowest package, because I don't have fiber, right? I don't even have an upgraded service provided here. I have the basic bare bone 25 meg service. And I'll show you some screenshots of the Starlink, and I'll show you some screenshots of this guy, both here on the move and out in town. So the worst case scenario here, let's just throw up some of these screenshots. I'm going to open up my phone so I can look at these things as I'm telling you. So the Starlink, I was getting 67.6 megs download and 4.68 upload, okay? Sometimes my download would be a little bit higher. I could get bang up to maybe 100 here, but my upload was always great, always between that 4.68 and upwards of 8, which for me is pretty awesome. The problem that I had with Starlink was that it was intermittent because of Starlink needs a more northerly field of view. I happen to have some hills and some trees here, okay? And so when I tried to do a live stream with it, I absolutely could not, because once it broke, it had to switch over to another satellite, and that millisecond of time was all that it took to interrupt the live stream. Off Kinetic, you can see it sucks, man. I was getting 27.1 and only 1.51 upload. Now, that 1.51 upload, as slow as that is, actually enables me to go live because it's constant. The video quality isn't as great, but there's no interruption of service. Now we go over to the Nomad here, and I was getting 9.47 download and 0.41 upload, which means here at my house it sucked, but I had service. In the middle of the national forest, I've got service. Going down further, we can see driving around, I had 70.5 and then 11.9 upload, right? On the move. Internet, WinT, if you will, right? On the move. And then more in a static location closer to town, I had 118 download and 0.44 upload, which is pretty freaking awesome. And that was in town when I did that test. So we have out in the boonies, we have on the move, right? And then we have closer to town. If I went down closer to Hot Atlanta, this thing would probably peg out pretty good. The cost of the service is about $120 a month, $140 a month, somewhere in there. And the cost of the equipment is a few hundred. So what you're getting, is it worth it? So if you want to be able to do some glamping and take some internet out on the road with you because you want to watch some Netflix, this thing is actually a pretty good option, because you literally, all you have to do is plug it into the power source and you're connected. There's no searching for satellites. It's like within 30 seconds you are online and you are downloading data. And again, as long as you have some cell phone towers, and the more towers that you have, the better and quicker the service is going to be, you're going to have some internet. If you are in a major city and you have the option or the availability to go fiber, this may not be the best option for you. But again, you can't take that fiber on the road with you. This could very well be an option for you. So this thing, I like it. I wish that I had more cell phone towers here, because I would use this. Again, because Starlink isn't all that great, but this was constant. So I could go live. I did a live test with this, and it was okay. But again, you know, I really want faster service here at the house. So the fastest service I can get is off of Kinetic, which is 27 megs, which is horrible, man. I cannot wait for fiber to come in. The pack is, to be honest with you, kind of a cheap hoo-yah, but that just kind of is what it is. You can charge the battery bank. You can plug this into the wall if you wanted to. Like, you don't have to use the battery bank. You can just plug this router into the wall. You can hardwire from your computer into the router as well, just to help increase some of that connection and decrease some of that latency. And bada boom, bada bing, you're good to go. So let me know what you think down below. If something like this is value added to your preps, you know, maybe you're trying to think of, how can I take some internet with me because I want to use some tactical radio operations, but I want to do some digital stuff and I need some internet. This could very well be a viable option in order to get that done, because it is such a small package. Battery bank is a little heavy. It's a few pounds, but the router itself is not much heavier than a phone. Team, I appreciate you guys. Again, let me know what you think down in the comments below, and we'll keep this conversation rolling. As always, until then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked.
We know you're out there! Come to my voice!
Team, if you want to master your craft and develop your tactical virtue, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so that you can stay up to date on future content. Consider becoming a channel member. It's going to give you exclusive access to content not available to anybody else. I appreciate you guys. Until then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked.